Alrighty. It is 7 o'clock and you do have quorum, Hillary. So if you want to call to order, and then I can give my little opening spiel if you'd like.
All right. This meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Reading on February 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. This meeting is called to order. So the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, myself, I'm Hillary Mativa, I'm the chair. We have Alex Normandin, who is the co-chair or vice chair, something, I don't remember the title. And who else is on? Cindy Hartman, Ryan Bork, Andrew Grassberger, Cy Coet. You have to correct me at some point. Is there anyone else? Am I missing anyone else?
That's it. I'm not sure if Patrick is joining us or not. Hope he just sent me an email. But yes, thank you, Hillary, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Andrew McNichol, staff planner for the Town Hall of Reading, and I'm also joined with Brett Bennett, building commissioner from the Town Hall. As Hillary mentioned, we're here for the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we're going to follow our standard procedure, even though we're over Zoom, which is the applicants will present their application to the board. The board will then ask questions amongst themselves and with the applicant. And following that, the board will then be able to open to public comment. If and when you are addressed by the board, please do state your name and address for the minutes keeping and records keeping. And other than that, I think I can just add that RCTV is recording and broadcasting this meeting, just so everybody is aware. And other than that, I think we are good to go, Hillary.
Okay. Case number 2203, 62 Oak Ridge Road. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing through remote and online measures on Thursday, February 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. on the application of Bill Nolan of Savoy Nolan Architects pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapters 40A, subsection 9 for a special permit under Reading zoning bylaws section 7.0, 7.3, and 7.3.2 to construct a 1.5-story addition along an existing non-conforming side yard setback at the non-conforming dwelling on the non-conforming lot for the property located at 62 Oak Ridge Road, Assessors Map 22, Lot 16 in Reading, Massachusetts. And we received a notice this week that it reads, Dear Mrs. Mativa, the Zoning Board of Appeals, I'm an architect representing the owner of the above referenced property. We are scheduled for the February 17th Zoning Board of Appeals meeting coming up. We wish to withdraw our application. Thank you for attention in this matter. Sincerely, William Nolan. So we need to, do we have to have a motion to?
You do need a motion to accept that request to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the withdrawal of an application for case number 2203 at 62 Oak Ridge Road without prejudice.
Seconded.
Shall we vote? Cindy?
Yes, I'll accept that.
Ryan?
I'm in favor, yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Cy?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you. All right, moving on. Case number 22-404, 34 Deborah Drive. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing through remote and online measures on Thursday, February 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. on the application of Patrick Silva pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, subsection 9 for a special permit under the Reading zoning bylaws, section 4.5, 5.3.2, and 5.4.7 to construct a 2-story addition, which includes an accessory apartment on the property located at 34 Deborah Drive, Assessors Map 38, Lot 97 in Reading, Massachusetts. Unless there is an objection, I will dispense with the reading of the abutters list, except to say that the abutters were notified, as were the following: Select Board, Town Clerk, Police Department, Fire Department, Building Department, Conservation Commission, Health Department, Assessor's Office, Engineering Division, CPDC, members and associate members of the Board of Appeals, as well as the planning boards of Wakefield, Linfield, North Reading, Stoneham, Woburn, and Wilmington. We do the testimony now, right? Okay, for those wishing to speak on this case, testimony given before this board is taken under oath. So if you think you may want to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. Repeat after, or I swear that this testimony given by me before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The response is I do.
I do.
Thank you. We have a new member of the Zoning Board of Appeals has joined us. Patrick Houghton is here.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay, so we will have the applicant explain your project, please. I think you have to unmute yourself, sir.
So Hillary, I don't know if Pat's able to speak. My name is Chris Restano from CDR Custom Homes. The Silvas hired us to construct this 27 by 28 split level addition for his mother, Judy, and Robert. They have sold their house and they're looking at basically moving in here. His mother is in the declining stage, sadly, but this is for them basically, so Patrick and Vanessa can take care of them. It would consist of, as you have the plans, it would be a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room that would be attached to the house with a doorway there, so that they can come in and that they can also care for them. It's at ground level, so it makes it very easy for handicap accessibility. The bathroom is ADA compliant. So this would be something that they can walk right in and have their own little home, but be kind of there with the family.
All right. And Brett, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Hillary. Not too much, just they're looking for a special permit because it's an addition to the gross floor area. Just a couple side notes, I guess the second floor of this addition is going to be used for the homeowners as their main living space. It's not included in the accessory apartment. The accessory apartment is just on the first floor. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the addition alone, if they were just going for an addition, it would be by right, but it's just because they're looking for the accessory apartment. Well, that's all I have.
Okay. Do you have any comments from the board? You can jump in.
I just wanted to ask, how did the driveway issue, the second driveway issue, how is that going to be resolved? Is there going to be a second driveway?
I am.
That.
Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Pat.
No, I am able to join. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I was going to. So the second driveway is something that has to go in front of the select board for approval. The reason for that second driveway would be the handicap access to the addition for the purpose of my mother who's disabled.
Okay.
Will the inability to get a second driveway affect if this addition goes forward?
We wouldn't stop the project, but it would create some hardship for us, for my mom, in getting in there. But we've committed essentially to the project, and it's already sold my parents' house, or my parents have already sold the house, excuse me. So we're kind of all in on getting mom and dad to my house. So.
Comments from the board?
Yeah, I can speak for a moment. This is Ryan. I can certainly appreciate the need as you described. That makes sense. And I'm a newer member of the board, but I tried to research just the applicable codes or bylaws. It looks like 5.7.1, I believe, touches upon the subject, and there's a table. And it's a definition that says, like, if you go to build an accessory apartment, it's okay as a means of increasing housing options without causing adverse effects on the community character and municipal services. Certainly the proposed addition, I don't believe or consider, that it would cause any adverse effects. So I think that in my mind seems acceptable. I did see there was a couple emails from, I think it was the Conservation Commission or some other folks. I'm not sure if there were other concerns like on their end, but that was my initial thought on the matter.
Yes, Andrew, did we have any further? We got an email from the Conservation Commission that is still reviewing the application.
Yeah, that's what I got from Chuck today, who's been working remote, but it seemed there was some questions as to the flag location and the wetland delineation. I don't know what their next steps are. He never really got back to me on that, but it looks like he mentioned that regardless, there shouldn't be any changes needed to the addition.
Okay.
Andrew, so from what Pat had told me, the conservation was out there Saturday. 4 members of the conservation board went out. They reviewed the flags. They said everything was in okay. They were happy with where the flags were positioned. They addressed, I guess there was a neighbor brought up an idea about drainage being an issue. They looked at that and they dismissed the complaint, seeing that all the drainage, the Silver's location would be in a lower setting. So drainage would be, if there was an issue with drainage, it would be on an upflow, and there's not going to be an upflow. It's going to be, there's no issue on that. So from what I was under the impression is that conservation was happy with everything and that they were going to just move forward to approve this the next meeting.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Does everybody else look like this? Everybody's screens are frozen?
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear.
I can hear, but I can't. It looks, everybody's screens are, the visuals frozen. At least for me, it is.
Good on my end.
Patrick's fan going. So
okay, well then I'm the only one.
Mine's okay, yeah.
Okay.
She did need to leave and re-enter.
Hi, Sai.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay.
See you in a bit.
Sai, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I did. When I got home, I was gone all day long until about 6 o'clock, and I came in and there were a couple of emails from Andrew, and one of them talked about this commission, and they said that the memo said they were still reviewing the application, because there seems to be some confusion about where the wetland line is and if they will approve it at all. So it sounds like they have not put their stamp of approval on it yet, and it's still being considered. Is that a true statement?
That's what I read on the email. So I'll read the email into the record so we can all see that.
Good
It
idea.
says, hi, Andrew, the commission is still reviewing this application. There seems to be some confusion on the wetland line and if they'll approve it at all. That can change the addition, but I don't expect it. There's also some fill in the wetland in 2 sections. The plans look very similar, except I don't see the detention basin on the south side of the house. I have attached a copy of the plans.
Okay.
So that's showing the detention bioretention cell here.
And I do have a few other comments.
Yes.
if you go to section 5.4.7.3, there are some performance standards there for accessory apartments, and I'd like to go down through them one by one, if I could. Part A there says that one accessory apartment per lot with a separate housekeeping unit with kitchen and bath. I find that to be okay. I think that's fine. Part B, the gross floor area. The accessory apartment can be 1/3 of the gross floor area or 1,000 square feet, whatever's smaller. And I think based on my review of the prints and so forth, that is probably okay as well. Because you're adding an accessory apartment on the first level, but you're asking almost a similar square footage above that for the main residence. So if you take all that into account, I think you comply with that part B. That's my view. Part C says that one of the owners has to reside there. I assume that's correct. Part D, it has to retain the appearance of a single family dwelling. Since there's an access door that will be added on the first level to the side of the house, I would think that that is satisfactory. Part E, stairways enclosed within the principal dwelling. My question would be, what is the access between the accessory apartment and the main residence? I know there's a door to the outside, but how do you get from the accessory apartment into the main residence? Could you explain that, please?
So there'll be a door that the foundation, it's going to be on a slab. So it's at grade at the same level as the basement, because the split level, and there'll be a doorway from the accessory apartment into the main living space. There'll be no stairs. It's going to be one single plane transition.
Okay, all right.
It's on the plan, Si, you can see it.
Andrew,
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify it for everybody.
Okay.
Part F says one front entrance is retained. That's correct. Then the part G deals with the new separate driveway, and that requires, from my viewpoint, select board approval. Water and sewer connections, I assume that is yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. It has to have a maximum of 2 bedrooms and a maximum of 3 people in the accessory apartment. From what I see and hear, I think that is probably okay. Parts J and K don't really apply. So I think the only issue that I see applying here is the one that you're going to need select board approval, and then you have to have a resolution of the Conservation Commission. Outside of that, I really don't have a problem with this piece of property and what they want to do. I took a ride by the place. It's a very nice piece of property. It's a huge lot. They got plenty of room. I have no reason to believe why they can't do it. My prediction would be that the select board would probably approve it. And I think you can resolve the issue with the Conservation Commission, but that's my comments at this point.
Thank you.
I'll go. This is Alex. Yep, I agree with everything Si had gone through the bullet points there. The square footage by my calculations was good. And yeah, it was really just the driveway issue that seems to be outstanding, was kind of the really only major thing in my book. And the only other thing I would note at this point is I do not believe, excuse me, the architectural plans are not signed and sealed. It's just the structural component and your plot plan. So that's it. And yeah, overall though, don't have any concerns with the apartment itself.
Okay, thank you. Andrew or Patrick?
Yeah, looks good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, goes
Nothing
through.
really to add. just the
Okay.
driveway issue outstanding.
Yes, and the Conservation Commission.
Conservation.
That's the same thing I would add. And I did go in the neighborhood and I do not see it as being detrimental. There are, similarly scale and proportion houses. I need to now open this up for public comment. If you would like to speak, please use the button to raise your hand and we'll acknowledge you. Joe Giovanni.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Restaino, Mr. Silver. My name is Joe DiGiovanni. I am the son of Joe DiGiovanni and the abutter directly to the left of Mr. Silver's property. And we do have just some general questions. My father is also on the line, and for what it's worth, I'm also an attorney licensed in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The first question, can you share a construction schedule with us?
As to regards to time frame to start,
Yes.
it's looking, if this was approved tonight and then conservation looks at it by the end of February, permitting and everything, end of March will be start, and we give a 4 to 6 month turnaround time.
Okay. Thank you. And I just had another question in regards to the zoning bylaw. I appreciate the fact that the board has duly considered section 5.4.7.3. And just in regards to that paragraph G, I guess my father's biggest concern is the second driveway. And I do note there's a couple issues there. It's my understanding that the select board does need to approve the second driveway, but I also note that the zoning bylaw indicates that the parking cannot be in the front yard. So, my question is, who has jurisdiction? Like, I know that there's that same section has a waiver process, right? So I guess where would, the parking, the way the driveway is set now, all of the parking for both the primary residence and the addition would be in the front of the house, in the front yard, at least the way the plan is drawn up now. I guess who would have jurisdiction over the second issue in regards to parking in the front yard? That's the question for the board.
Yeah. Andrew, I'm not experienced with parking in the front yard.
I mean, if I could jump in, engineering would have to approve the curb cut in the driveway for the driveway itself. I mean, I don't know if they consider, I mean, I think that a front yard is more of a landscaped issue. I don't know if they consider it a driveway, but engineering does have the jurisdiction on all that.
Okay, yeah, it says specifically, only one access driveway shall be permitted on a lot containing an accessory apartment unless the Board of Selectmen has authorized an additional access driveway. Any additional approved driveway space may not result in cars parking in the front yard.
So actually, thank you for mentioning this. We do have a memo from the town engineer dated February 16th. Do you want to pull that up, Andrew, please? It says an appeal request was made to the Parking Traffic Transport Task Force on January 26, 2022 regarding a proposed second driveway curb cut located at 34 Deborah Drive. On January 11th, 2022, the engineering division denied the application for a second driveway. The submitted plan revealed that the distance between the existing driveway and the proposed was less than a minimum of 120-foot separation, as set forth in the driveway regulations. The applicant is requesting a variance from the board to allow for two driveways less than 120 feet, 5 feet apart. The Parking Traffic Transportation Task Force reviewed and discussed the request and determined that there was no concern in the regards to public safety or traffic on the roadway to prohibit the driveway. The second driveway would allow for handicap access to the proposed addition that the current driveway does not provide. It is important to note that the addition is being constructed for the purposes of the care of the aging and disabled parents.
Okay, so I guess my question is, I apologize, I didn't understand the, I guess the preface for the letter. So that is, the select board has already considered and ruled on this?
That is the town engineer.
Okay,
Yeah, so that was from the town engineer and PTTF, which is our Parking, Traffic, and Transportation Task Force, where a lot of these requests come into first for our review and comment. The select board has not yet reviewed this application. I believe it is scheduled for March 1st. And I think per your note on performance standard G, I would like to include that in the memo as a potential second clause that should be noted for them to discuss.
okay, thank you very much for your time.
Further comments? Yes, Mr.
Good.
Foley?
Hi, my name is Patrick Foley. I'm actually the neighbor across the street at 35 Deborah Drive. With due respect to Mr. DiGiovanni, I think that he may be that may be misreading the bylaw there, in the sense that it says that any additional approved driveway space may not result in cars parking in a front yard. Now, if a additional driveway has been approved, it's no longer the front yard, obviously. And I think that the purpose of that provision would, in all likelihood, be to say that is more of a capacity issue, so that if you have 4 cars and the additional driveway is going to put a 5th car there, then there'll be 4 in the driveway, and you're going to have to find somewhere else for the other one, and that'll be the front yard. So in other words, they're just saying you can't park on your front yard because you don't have enough driveway space, is my interpretation of it. So I don't know that we can read front yard to be the same thing as an approved additional driveway.
Yeah, respectfully, the front yard is defined in the zoning bylaws. So, again, I disagree with your reading of it, but I'll leave that up for the select board to consider.
Sure. That was all. That was the only point I wanted to make.
Further comments?
Looks like Mr. Silva wants to talk
Mr.
again.
Silva, yes, thank you.
I just didn't want to talk over anybody a little while back. I'm more than happy to speak on the meeting I had with conservation last Saturday afternoon at my home. I don't know if you're interested in that or not, but I didn't want to speak over anybody a few minutes ago in the meeting, and I'd be happy to do that if you would like.
Sure, please.
So as Chris indicated, 4 members of the Conservation Commission came to my home. The issue of the flags that Chuck mentions in his email was regarding, they had kind of a peculiar line, I guess, for how the how the wetlands were delineated. Mm-hmm. So they had a question as to that kind of cutout behind my shed in the rear of my house. I certainly would never say that the commission approved anything or anything like that, because it wouldn't be okay. They wouldn't have done that because it's not one of their scheduled meetings. But they indicated that, what they saw from the flags was essentially good. To speak to what Chris said about the drainage, they stood at the lowest point where that biocentric zone would be installed to drain properly into, eventually into the wetlands. And they were actually encouraged by the fact that we were doing a biocentric zone and not just a dry well, or not just letting it kind of leach out into the grass there, a regular kind of drainage system. So like I said, I would never speak to say that they were approving in any way or anything like that, but they certainly didn't address any major issues that couldn't be rectified during the construction process, as far as, letting some vegetation grow, or maybe moving that back shed up a little bit so it wasn't in the wetlands or something like that. What I would classify as minor issues that would be absolutely agreeable to me and to the builder as well.
Thank you. Further comments? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of the meeting, and any further comments from the board?
The only thing I would add is that I'll just go back to that parking issue again. The bylaw is very explicit. The Board of Selectmen, or Select Board now, has to approve it. And it also, if they want to decide or change that last sentence of that section, then I suppose they could act on that as well. But it does, the young gentleman who just made the comment previously, I mean, that really says that if you have a second driveway, that those driveways are going to have to be used for parking for whatever happens at that residence, and any additional cars that may have to be used or parked at that house, I interpret it to mean that you can't park them on the roadway. But that could be an issue you could discuss when the board acts upon this. They may you can present your case and see what they say about it, but I think that's probably more subject to their approval and not necessarily this board. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Because I'm just wondering what, can we act upon this to vote on the physical structure itself and, subject to the outcomes of the Conservation Commission and Select Board?
I think we should add, when we make the motion, we should definitely add that language that it is, contingent. We're not reviewing the curb cut and, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I think you can place conditions that prior to building permit, the conservation has approved the design and the engineering and select board have approved the driveway. And if you really felt needed in case any design changes may or may not occur, you could also condition that square footage of the ADU remain the same or similar. You have that power as well.
Would you like to make that motion, Alex?
Yeah, I just learned to stop asking questions. To be the last one to ask the question. Sure. Give me one moment, please, to get everything in front of me here. I just lost the application. All right. I move to grant the petitioners. Nope. This up. Mr. Patrick Silva of 34 Deborah Drive, Reading, Massachusetts, a special permit under sections. Let's see here, 5.4.7 and 5.4.3 to construct an accessory apartment. Let's see, on the lot at 34 Deborah Drive in Reading, Mass, as shown on the certified plot plan prepared by Sullivan Engineering Group, stamped and signed by John Sullivan, professional engineer, Sullivan Engineering Group out of Woburn, Massachusetts, dated January 5th, 2022. And as shown on the construction plans, prepared by John Vining of Residential Architecture. And those were dated, looks like November 19th, 2021. The architectural plans are sheets A0 through A2. And as shown on the structural plans prepared by John Vining of Residential Architecture, signed and stamped. I cannot, apologize, I cannot read the name on stamp, but it is a registered professional engineer.
Looks
Like
like
a
Richard Smith.
Smith. Okay, yeah, I was going to say that. Richard Smith, structural registered professional engineer, on sheets S1 and S2. And with the conditions that the Reading Conservation Commission approve the same plans and application, and the select board makes a ruling on the driveway. And if either review by the select board or Conservation Commission results in design changes, a condition that the overall square footage of the accessory apartment remains the same as shown on these plans. Did I miss anything?
And we have the regular conditions as well.
Sure. Yeah, and these are standard conditions for the special permit. Petitioners shall submit to the building inspector a certified plot plan of the proposed construction and proposed foundation plans prior to the issuance of a foundation permit for the work. Number 2, the petitioner's final construction plans for the new structure shall be submitted to the building inspector along with the as-built foundation plans prior to the issuance of a building permit. And number 3, as-built plans showing the completed construction shall be submitted to the building inspector immediately after the work is completed and prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit.
I have a question for the board and your condition of the square footage remaining the same. Is that a, what if he has to change it slightly? So it has to be similar in design.
Similar.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
better.
Yep. Okay.
Is that Andrew? Like, I'm just worried, like if he has to set it back 2 feet, we can't keep the same square footage maybe.
Yeah, I can work on language that would allow that.
I mean, could we just say that it's in compliance with like the 1,000-foot
But I was thinking,
gross area?
yeah.
Will you accept that amendment to the?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay, great. Look for a second, please.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a full board here today, so we only are going to be voting as myself, Alex, Cy, Cindy, and Ryan. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yep.
Okay, so Cy,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes,
Ryan.
Yes.
Oh, wait, did somebody second it? Cy did.
yes, I seconded it.
Okay, sorry. Alex
Yes.
and myself, yes. So it passes 5-0-0.
Great. I'll draft that decision up for you guys as soon as I can, get that over to you, and then Hillary will just coordinate on the stamped plans as well.
Okay, great. Do we wait for, we'll have to wait for the rest of the boards to approve it, or?
Yeah, I'll think about that more. We approved these plans, so
Yeah. Okay,
They'll all just need to coordinate with each other.
yeah,
okay.
which we're good at in Reading.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Good luck, Mr. Silva.
All right, next case, number 22-05, 111 Pleasant Street. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing through remote and online measures on Thursday, February 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. on the application of Andrew Gregory pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, subsection 9 for a special permit under the Reading zoning bylaws, section 7.0, 7.3, and 7.3.2 to construct a second-story addition on an existing structure with a non-conforming side yard setback at the non-conforming dwelling on the property located at 111 Pleasant Street, Assessor's Map 22, Lot 16 in Reading, Massachusetts. Okay. Unless there's an objection, I will dispense with the reading of the abutters list, except to say that the abutters were notified as were the following: Select Board, Town Clerk, Police Department, Fire Department, Building Department, Conservation Commission, Health Department, Assessor's Office, Engineering Division, CPDC, members and associate members of the Board of Appeals, as well as the planning boards of Wakefield, Linfield, North Reading, Stoneham, Woburn, and Wilmington. Testimony given before this board is taken under oath, so if you think you may want to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. I swear that the testimony given by me before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The response is I do.
I do. I do.
And
Can you hear me?
yes, I can. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Sorry.
And that's fine. Would the applicant or his representative like to speak?
Yeah, my name is John Andrews. We're the architectural designers on the project. And what we have is a single family home. It has a second floor above there that's now, but the issue is the head height. So it's almost sort of like a caper. It only really has about 6 feet of head height on the left and right side. And what we're proposing to do is to raise that roof up just a few feet to get 8 feet in height. Then we also want to do, in addition towards the back, all on the same footprint, and that's for another bedroom. So in reality, it says that it's a 2-bedroom home. It's extremely small. And when we raise that roof up as well, there's a bathroom. If you look on the floor plans to the left, that roof will be raised as well. And now really what will happen is it'll make it have a regular ceiling height throughout the second floor. What we're adding actually to the existing space, other than raising the second floor, that the living space is there now, is we're adding that bedroom in the back, which is roughly about 160 square feet. And that's pretty much it. So it's more of a renovation of the second floor with that addition to the bedroom, all on the same footprint.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
I don't know if I may have missed something, but is there a front elevation shown in these plans? I didn't see one.
There should be a front elevation on there.
Yeah, I don't see one.
I don't see one either.
It really affects the right and left side and the rear.
Yeah, I wanted to see how it would change, how the appearance would change from the street.
Oh, from the street? I don't think that changes from the street at all. I think it's still the same front elevation as the home that's there now.
Okay.
You know, because that back area there and that back addition is hidden by the front of the house and the front of the slope of the roof. This all happens towards the rear.
And that slope wouldn't be changing at all by
No, it
the
wouldn't.
increase in height of the ceilings?
No, not at all. And so if you're looking at the left and right side, you see sort of the hatched in area on the second floor. That's the only part that's affected. So it wouldn't be affected to the front at all.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yep.
Brett, did you have anything?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I don't have too much. Just Andrew, if you could go back to that plot plan for me, please. So I think that originally, I believe there was a different plot plan shown. I mean, this shows that they're doing the whole second floor, but in reality, like the architect said, that the front isn't getting touched. That's why they didn't need any relief for the front yard setback. Again, as the architect noted, it's basically just the back half of that dwelling. I thought there was another plot plan that showed just the section that's the addition, but it is just the rear part of the house. So the front setback doesn't need any relief. It would just be that side setback. That's it, pretty straightforward, just going up with the existing nonconformity. That's all I really have.
And we're extending what you're saying is that we're extending it vertically. And so we're not encroaching any further on the setback. We're not getting closer than 2'5". We're just going up in this zone that's hatched, is what I'm understanding.
Yes.
Correct. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, the nonconformity is an upward nonconformity, I guess. And it doesn't come all the way to the front. It's just pretty much that back section.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just comment in reading the application. So this is a special permit. The applicant did include the variance conditions. I did read them. However, for our ruling, those do not need to be met since this is not a variance. So at least that's my understanding. So just want to note that. But yeah, overall, I had no issues with this just going up vertically. You're obviously, it's a pretty good sized lot, well under the lot coverage, and yeah, no increase in footprint. So I generally seen no issues with this.
Thank you. Sai, do you want to say anything?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I was hung up when I first started to read this thing. The original application, as was you just said, was asking for a variance, and I sat here and wondered why. But that's been clarified now, and now they're asking for a special permit. But no, it's to me very straightforward, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
You, Ryan?
Yeah, the same thought of a clarification in terms of a variance for a special permit, but that's easy enough, and I can certainly appreciate having taller ceilings.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I have no issue, or I agree with the other board members' thoughts.
And the owner actually is 6'4". You can believe it.
I can relate to that.
You need a taller
Okay.
ceiling.
All right.
Andrew, Patrick, do you have any comments?
No issue.
Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
I was gonna say no issues. I'm 5'7", so I even 6 feet for me.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm gonna beat the dead horse on the variance thing. And I went through this process as a applicant not too long ago, and I also got very confused by that. So I certainly understand why I fill out both parts of the application. I guess this is more of a clarification. I don't think it really has a bearing on the setback we're talking about. But is the additional bathroom on the first floor part of the existing footprint of the house, or is that additional?
That's part of the existing footprint. That's
Okay.
there already. Yep.
All right.
It is.
And I too, I went by this place. It's very cute and tiny, but I can fully understand how you need to expand your building area. Okay, so next step is to open it to public comment. If you have a comment, please raise your hand and we will call on you. Okay, not seeing any. So we'll close the public comment portion, and you guys know what the next steps are. We need a motion, please.
I'll take a
Okay.
stab at this one.
Thank you,
This
Cindy.
one's easier, I think. I'll move to grant the petitioner Andrew Gregory a special permit under section, oh shoot. I always forget the section 7.0, 7.3, and 7.3.2 of the zoning bylaws to increase the height and add to the second floor on the non-conforming lot at 111 Pleasant Street in Reading, Massachusetts, as shown on the certified plot plan prepared by Scott Serrato and dated January 5th, 2022, and certified, actually also certified by Scott Serrato. And as shown on the plans submitted with the application by the JFA Design Group dated January 19th, 2022. A1, A2, and T1. This special permit is subject to the following conditions. The petitioner shall submit to the building inspector a certified plot plan of the proposed construction and proposed foundation plans prior to the issuance of a foundation permit for the work. The petitioner's final construction plans for the new structure shall be submitted to the building inspector along with the as-built foundation plan prior to the issuance of a building permit. As-built plans showing the completed construction shall be submitted to the building inspector immediately after the work is completed and prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit.
Okay, we would like a second, please.
Second.
Okay, so again, voting would be myself, Alex, Cy, Cindy, and Ryan. Alex,
Yes.
Cy,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
and I vote for yes as well. So passes 500.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great, and I will draft up that decision and get that over to you guys as soon as we can, as well as the stamp plans.
Great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's nothing else on the agenda. Are there any further comments, Andrew?
I have no new major updates that differ from the last. Currently, we don't have anything scheduled for your March 3rd meeting, so you should be free on that night. And the same might be the case for March 17th. If that is the case, I am not sure how far remote meetings will continue to go, only because the state had passed legislation that allowed remote meetings under open meeting law through April 2022, I believe, was their deadline. And now they had extended it last year at the last minute. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not this year. There's been no real word. So I guess I'll try to get you an update on that and let you know if our next meeting will be remote or in person. Have a feeling in person, but I'm not sure. So
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. In order to end, we need a motion.
I will move to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Okay,
I
good
won't
night,
see
everybody.
you. Maybe we won't see
Yeah.
each other for a while, but thank you.
Have a good March.
you as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.